You are a slave. You can deny it, but it is true. You are a slave to your desires, a slave to the opinions of people you claim not to care about, and a slave to a reality you believe you cannot control. You are petitioning the world for permission. You are begging for success, for love, for recognition, and because you are begging, the world refuses you. Marcus Aurelius was emperor of Rome. He could have had everything. He could have executed anyone, possessed any woman, seized any land, and yet the private journal he kept, the one he never intended to publish, was not about how to conquer the world. It was about how to manage the pathetic, whining part of himself. He had arrived at a severe truth that modern people have forgotten. The man who needs nothing controls everything. I am going to hand you the keys to the Imperial mind. This is not about finding peace. It is about constructing a psychological fortress so impenetrable that rejection, failure, and chaos do not merely bounce off you, they fuel you. By the end of this process, you will stop asking the world for what you want. You will simply take it, because you will realize it belonged to you from the beginning. Phase 1. Erasing the victim. The removal of judgment. The first step toward getting what you want is understanding that wanting is an admission of lack. An admission of lack is a position of weakness. In Book 4 of his Meditations, Aurelius writes something deceptively simple, but in reality a tool of psychological warfare. Take away your opinion and there is taken away the complaint. I have been harmed. Take away the complaint, I have been harmed, and the harm is gone. Read that again. He is not telling you to pretend you are not hurting. He is telling you that pain does not exist outside of your decision to acknowledge it. Most of you live with your skin turned inside out. You are exposed nerves. If someone ignores your messages, you feel rejected. If your boss criticizes your work, you feel incompetent. If the market crashes, you feel like a victim. You are constantly waiting for the external world to tell you how to feel. You have outsourced your emotional stability to random events. This is peasant behavior, not emperor behavior. To get what you want, you must first strip the world of its power to deny you. Imagine you have been insulted. A colleague calls you lazy. The ordinary person reacts. He defends himself. He gets angry. He goes home and complains to his wife. He has allowed another person to colonize his mind. He has surrendered his power. The Imperial mind operates differently. It looks at the insult and deconstructs it. He is calling me lazy. That is a sound vibrating in the air. It is an opinion formed by his brain, filtered through his own insecurities, his bad day, his limited perception of me. Why should his hallucination become my reality? You simply remove the judgment. I am not hurt, and suddenly you are not. This is not delusion. This is the supreme power move. When you refuse to be offended, you become terrifying. Think about it. What can you do to a person who cannot be insulted? What can you do to a person who is indifferent to losing money? What can you do to a person who shrugs at catastrophe? Nothing. He is invulnerable. And when you are invulnerable, you become magnetic. People feel the absence of need. They sense that you do not require their approval. And because you do not need it, they desperately want to give it to you. This is the dark paradox of desire. The moment you stop chasing the butterfly, it lands on your shoulder. But you must genuinely stop chasing. You must reach the point where the external outcome is irrelevant to your internal state. Begin practicing this erasure. When a problem arises, a flat tire, a breakup, a lost contract, pause. Do not let the automatic program run. Do not say, this is bad. Say, this happened. This is bad is a judgment. This happened is a fact. A fact cannot hurt you. Only a judgment can. Remove the judgment and you remain king.
Phase 2. Biological dismemberment. Killing the enchantment. Why don't you get what you want? Because you have placed it on a pedestal. You have romanticized it. You look at the promotion, the beautiful partner, the luxury car, and you see magical objects that will fix your life. This is a hallucination. and Aurelius had a brutal method for destroying hallucinations. He would strip things down to their rotting biological essence. He wrote about elaborate delicacies. This is a dead fish. This is a dead bird or pig. He wrote about expensive wine. It is merely grape juice. He wrote about the imperial purple robe, the supreme symbol of power in Rome. It is just sheep's wool dyed with the blood of a mollusk. And he wrote about sex, for which men destroy empires, describing it as friction in the groin and the spasmodic discharge of mucus. Brutal, unromantic, and absolutely necessary. He was using a technique called de-enchantment. He was actively dismantling the glamour of the world so that the world could not enslave him. When you place something on a pedestal, you are looking up at it, and when you look up at it, you place yourself beneath it. You cannot possess what you worship, you can only serve it. If you want to dominate your reality, you must learn to look at things with clinical surgical coldness. You are nervous before meeting the CEO. Why? Disassemble him. He is a biological organism. He eats. He sleeps. His breath smells in the morning. He is aging. He is worried about his own relevance. He is just a person. Why are you trembling before a bag of meat and anxiety? You are obsessed with a woman. Dismantle the fantasy. You are not obsessed with her. You are obsessed with the dopamine hit your brain is anticipating. You are obsessed with the image you has projected onto her. Strip it away. See the person. See the flaws. See the mortality. When you deconstruct the object of your desire, you stop trembling. Your pulse slows. You recover your cognitive function. And paradoxically, this makes you far more effective. The man who sees the CEO as a god stutters. The man who sees the CEO as an equal negotiates. The man who worships the woman becomes unsettling. The man who sees the woman as a human being becomes a partner. Once you see reality as it is, matter, atoms, biology, you lose the fear of losing it. And when you lose the fear of loss, you gain freedom of action. You can finally move without hesitation. You can take risks because the worst-case scenario is just biology. Phase 3. The view from above. Scale as a weapon. Most of your problems are not real problems. They are problems of perspective. You have zoomed in too far. You are staring at one pixel and screaming that the image is red. Aurelius ruled the known world. He had wars on his borders, plague killing his citizens, and the sun who was a psychopath. He had every reason to panic, but he used the mental technique to instantly suppress his anxiety. He zoomed out. He pictured Earth from space, a tiny dot in infinite darkness. He saw armies as swarms of ants fighting over a crumb. He saw the borders of his empire as lines drawn in sand. He saw a human lifespan as a flash of lightning in an eternal night. Asia and Europe are mere corners of the universe, he wrote. The entire ocean is a drop of water. Mount Athos is a clod of the earth. The present moment is a point in eternity. This is the view from above. When you want something too desperately, it consumes your entire horizon. It becomes your whole world. I need this job. I need this deal. I must win this argument. This myopia makes you weak. It makes you desperate. It makes you petty. Change your scale. Imagine looking at your life from the perspective of history. In 100 years, you will be dead. The person you are trying to impress will be dead. The person you hate will be dead. No one will remember your failures. No one will remember your successes. Your entire life, with all its drama and screaming, will be buried under layers of earth. Does this depress you? It should not. It should liberate you. If nothing matters in the long run, you are free. You are free to act. You are free to fail. You are free to be bold. Why are you afraid to ask for what you want? Because of embarrassment. In 50 years, the brain storing that memory of embarrassment will be dust. Who cares? The view from above destroys the ego, and the ego is the heaviest thing you carry. What will they think of me? Am I good enough? Do I deserve this? Drop the anchor. Zoom out. Realize that you are a ghost operating a skeleton on a rock floating through space. The stakes are zero. When you realize the stakes are zero, you play the game differently. You play with a smirk. You play with the dangerous ease of someone with nothing to lose. And the world is frightened by people with nothing to lose. It gets out of its way.
Phase 4. The inner citadel. Absolute sovereignty of mind. We live in the age of invasion. Your phone vibrates. The news screams. Social media demands your attention. Everyone wants a piece of your mind. They want to plant their fears, their products, their ideologies inside your brain. Aurelius warned about this 2,000 years ago. He spoke of the inner citadel. There is a part of you that must remain strictly inaccessible to the world, a steel core that no external force can touch. The mind free from passions is a fortress, he wrote. A man has no stronger place of retreat. But most of you have left the drawbridge down. You allow anyone to enter. You let a rude comment from a stranger on the internet set up camp in your living room. You let news cycles sleep in your bed. You are occupied territory. To get what you want, you must first reclaim your own mind. You must evict the squatters. This requires ruthless border control. You must monitor what is allowed to penetrate your consciousness. When you feel yourself beginning to rage about politics, ask, did I invite this thought? If not, remove it. When you feel envy towards someone on social media, ask, does this thought serve my interests? If not, expel it. You must treat your attention the way a nation treats its gold reserves, precious, finite, and coveted by everyone. The inner citadel is where decisions are made. It is the seat of your will. If that place is crowded with the voices of society, your parents, your fears, you cannot make independent decisions. You will simply obey the loudest voice. Clear the space. Silence is not merely the absence of noise. It is the presence of control. When you retreat into your citadel, you remember who you are. You remember your objective. You restore your emotional state. Aurelius did not retreat to a mountain cave. He retreated into himself, even on the battlefield, even in the Senate. He would close his eyes for a moment, descend inward, touch his steel core, and return ready to command. You must learn to do this. When negotiations are heating up, retreat to the citadel. When someone is testing you, retreat to the citadel. Find that place of absolute composure, absolute logic, absolute self-possession. From that place, you do not react, you respond. And your response will be lethally precise because it is uncontaminated by emotion. The world is chaotic. Your mind must be ordered. The contrast between the two is your power. Be the rock that the waves break against. The waves are loud, foamy, chaotic. The rock is silent, motionless, ancient. Who wins? The rock always wins. The waves eventually exhaust themselves and retreat. The rock remains. Phase 5. Amor Fati. Armed acceptance. Now we come to the darkest and most powerful weapon in Aurelius's arsenal, the concept that separates the victim from the victor. Most people endure their fate. Some accept it. Aurelius demanded that you love it. Amor Fati, love of fate. This is not passive resignation. It is not whatever will be, will be. It is aggressive, predatory consumption of reality. Everything that happens to you is fuel. Aurelius wrote, the blazing fire makes flame and brightness out of everything that is thrown into it. Picture a small candle. If you throw a log at it, you extinguish it. The obstacle destroys the weak flame. Now picture a forest fire. Throw a log into it, what happens? It absorbs the log. It burns hotter. It burns higher. The obstacle becomes the fire. You must become that fire. You didn't get the promotion? Good. Now you have the heat to start your own business. She left you? Good. Now you have the time to rebuild yourself, and she will regret it. You got sick? Good. Now you have the stillness to write the book you kept postponing. This is total inversion. When you embrace Amor Fati,
you cannot lose, because everything that happens, good or bad, is simply more fuel for your fire. Imagine fighting an opponent who grows stronger with every blow you land, an opponent who laughs when you break his arm and says, "Thank you, now I learned to fight with my left." You cannot defeat such a person. He has broken the game. He has converted adversity into advantage. This is how you get what you want, by realizing that everything that happens is what you wanted, because you can use it. When you stop labeling events as misfortunes, you stop being a victim of fate. You become a master of alchemy. You take the lead weight of trauma and convert it into the gold of character. Most people wait for perfect conditions. I will be happy when, I will start when. The emperor says the condition is irrelevant. The fire burns whatever is in front of it. If you are standing on a pile of rubble, burn the rubble. If you are standing in a palace, burn the palace. The material does not matter. Only the burning does.
Phase 6. Social Navigation. Managing the Human Animal. Aurelius was not a hermit. He was a politician. He understood that achieving your objectives requires understanding the people you are dealing with, and he did not romanticize them. When you wake up in the morning, he wrote, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. He wrote this not out of bitterness, but as preparation. If you walk into a lion's den expecting the lions to be vegetarians, you will be eaten. If you go into the world expecting people to be fair, kind, and rational, you will be destroyed. The art of getting what you want lies in accepting human nature as it is, not as you wish it were. Most of you are in constant conflict with reality. You become angry when people are selfish. You become angry when they lie. Aurelius asks, can the world exist without shameless people? No, it is statistically impossible. So when you encounter a shameless person, you should not be surprised. You should treat it like discovering a new species of insect. Ah, a liar. Fascinating. How does this mechanism work? This detachment allows you to move through the social landscape without getting stuck in it. When you judge people, you become blind to their utility. When you accept them as imperfect mechanisms, you can identify which buttons to press. If you know someone is arrogant, do not try to humble them. That is your ego fighting theirs. Instead, feed their arrogance. Use it. If you know someone is fearful, do not tell them to be brave. Use their fear. Aurelius viewed humanity as a single organism, born to work together like hands, legs, and eyes. In the psychology of influence, this means to get what you want from people, you must align your selfish desire with their selfish nature. You are not asking for a favor. You are offering them an opportunity to feel good, or wealthy, or powerful. You stop seeing them as enemies and start seeing them as pieces of a puzzle. Some pieces are jagged, some are smooth. Your task is to assemble them into your picture. Never complain about the pieces. The pieces are what they are. The master builder works with the stone he has, not the stone he wishes he had. Phase 7. Memento Mori. The urgency of death. Why do you procrastinate? Why do you hesitate to pursue what you want? Because you are convinced you have time. You live as though you are guaranteed eternal existence. You treat your life like a dress rehearsal. I will do that next year. I will start on Monday. Aurelius kept a skull on his desk, metaphorically and perhaps literally. He was obsessed with the thought of death. Memento Mori. Remember that you will die. He wrote, you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. This is not morbidity. This is the highest form of motivation. If I held a gun to your head and told you that you had 1 hour to complete your work, would you be scrolling social media? Would you be agonizing over the perfect font? Would you care whether your hair looked good? No, you would be maximally focused. You would strip away everything unnecessary. You would do only what was essential. Death is the gun at your temple. It is simply a very slow bullet, but it is approaching. To get what you want, you must manufacture urgency. You must understand that your potential is rotting every second you do not use it.
Aurelius commanded himself to perform every action as though it were the last of his life. Imagine the force of that. If this were your last conversation with your partner, would you argue about the dishes or speak with love? If this were your last business presentation, would you hold back or go all in? When you live knowing that death stands just over your left shoulder, you stop caring about trivialities. You stop worrying about awkwardness. You stop being afraid. Fear is a luxury available only to those who believe they have a future. The man who is about to die feels no fear. He has only purpose. Use death. Let it sharpen you. Let it cut the fat from your life, the bad friends, the wasted hours, the petty grievances. Picture yourself already dead. Aurelius wrote, "You have lived your life. Now take what remains and live it properly." That is the secret. You are already dead. The life you are trying to protect is gone. The time you have right now is bonus time. Play accordingly. Play aggressively. Play to win.
Phase 8. Premeditatio Malorum. Immunity to chaos. Most people visualize success. They close their eyes and see the mansion, the applause, the victory. This is pleasant, but it makes you fragile, unstable, because when reality strikes, you are shocked. Aurelius visualized catastrophe. Before a campaign, he would picture the betrayal of his generals. He would see his troops starving. He would picture his own death. Why? So that when it happened, he could say, "I knew this would come. I am ready." This is dark visualization. If you want to be unshakable, you must befriend your worst nightmares. You are afraid of going broke? Visualize it deeply. Picture yourself checking your bank account and seeing zero. Picture sleeping in your car. Picture hunger. Walk through it in your mind. Feel the cold. Now look around. You are still breathing. You are still alive. You realize that even your worst nightmare is something you can survive. Once you understand that the worst-case scenario is survivable, you lose your fear of it. And when you lose your fear of failure, you become dangerous. You become the person who goes all in because you know you can handle the loss. The person who must win is tense. The person who is prepared to lose is calm. And in the game of life, the calm player almost always outperforms the tense one. Mentally break your own heart before the real world can. Wound your own ego in private before it gets destroyed in public. By the time a crisis actually arrives, you have already survived it 1,000 times in your mind and grown bored of it. While everyone else panics, you act. We began this journey asking, how do I get what I want? And we have arrived at a remarkable paradox. You get what you want by realizing that you are both the source of the wanting and the source of the satisfaction. By applying these principles, erasing the victim state, removing judgment, biological deconstruction and de-enchantment, the view from above, building the inner citadel, Amor Fati, social navigation, Memento Mori, and premeditatio malorum, you stop being a leaf driven by the wind. You become the wind itself. You stop reacting and start creating. People will look at you and sense your difference. They will see a calm in your eyes that unsettles them. They will notice a discipline that frightens them. They will see someone who walks through fire and does not burn. They will assume you are lucky. They will assume you are gifted. But they will not know the violence you committed against your own weakness in the dark. They will not know how many times you had to kill your own ego. They will not understand that you are not lucky. You are simply prepared. You have built a mind in alignment with nature, with reality, with power. And when you are in alignment with reality, reality stops resisting you. It begins to flow through you. You receive what you want because you have become the person who deserves it. But be warned, this path is not for everyone. It is lonely. It is cold. It demands you surrender the comfort of complaint, the warmth of the victim group. You will walk alone, but you will walk as a king. There remains one final trap, the one that even Marcus Aurelius wrestled with until his last breath.
because once you master your mind, you will discover that the greatest danger is not the world. It is the temptation of your own power. How do you keep a sovereign mind from becoming a tyrant? How do you stay sharp without losing your humanity? That is the shadow side of the emperor. But that is a lesson for another time.